Hello and welcome back to the channel Isekai. In this video, we will be doing a recap of a Japanese love comedy manga series called Nagasarete Airantou. The series is about Akuto Tauhuin, a young man who had just left his household after a large quarrel with his father. Having left his home, he has the desire to now experience the freedom that he felt lacking while under his father's watch. So, without any further ado, let's get straight to the story. Episode 1. After escaping his home, a young man named Akuto Tauhuin boards a ship only to be thrown overboard. He's stuck on an island. But not just any island. It is an entirely female-populated island. Akuto is rescued by a girl named Suzu, who fearlessly saves his life by performing artificial respiration on him. Then he is taken to the island elder's house, where he is kept until he recovers and is then placed in the care of Suzu, but not before revealing an astonishing secret about Akuto that he is a boy. This news sends shockwaves throughout the island, and several of the other inhabitants become jealous of Suzu for having such an unbelievable find. They meet Anne on their way to Suzu's house, who, of course, wants Akuto for herself. She tries to hit Suzu with a spear but instead hits Akuto. Suzu finally gets Akuto to her house and gives him the instant cure, which appears to be the most delicious drink he saw. Akuto then goes to the bathroom to freshen up. And Suzu has no idea what wanting to take a bath with Akuto will do to him because the girls have never been around a guy before. Suzu wants to take a bath with Akuto first, whereupon she wants to clean his back. And then she wants him to clean her back. Then Anne appears out of nowhere and expresses her desire for Akuto once more. All of this becomes too much for Akuto, who begins to collapse due to massive bleeding. But this is not the end of Akuto. He is kidnapped by Anne while Suzu is troubled, but is saved by Rin, the woodworker, who immediately proposes to Akuto. Meanwhile, Yukino, the island's youngest girl, arrives on the back of a giant bear named Kuma Kuma. Akuto immediately instructs Kuma Kuma to kung fu break him. Yukino and Rin start fighting over who will date Akuto, and Akuto manages to escape. He walks through a village, looking for a way out when he comes across Chikage. Chikage appears to be quite normal until she attempts to kidnap Akuno to study him. He is only saved from her by another girl attempting to shoot him down. Chikage, and the rest of the island's residents for that matter, begin chasing after Akuno until he is finally saved by Suzu. Akuto boards a boat and sails away for the sea. What he doesn't realize is that the island is surrounded by ripples which prevent any escape by boat. Finally, the orca reverses Akuto's boat, and he must be rescued by Suzu. Suzu arrives to save Akuto wearing nothing but a thin white cloth. Episode 2. Suzu explains to Akuto why the island is lacking male inhabitants. Once males still lived on the island, they would all go out to sea and compete in a large fish-catching tournament every year. Anne, on the other hand, appears out of nowhere and attempts to kidnap Akuto. Suzu runs out after hearing Akuto scream and finds her putting a large eggplant-looking thing in Akuto's place in an attempt to fool Suzu. Suzu, on the other hand, is only wearing her skirt and the cloth wrapped around her top. In response, Ikut, who is now bound, begs Suzu not to save him, but to put on some clothes. Anne and Suzu fight and Akuto is stomped on several events, as well as having his face struck in the middle of Suzu's rather large chest, causing a much larger nosebleed this time. Suzu finally gets rid of Anne by hitting her with the giant eggplant-like thing. Chikage is the next girl to try to seduce Akuto, claiming that she isn't interested in marriage and that she will hide him. She, on the other hand, has other plans and has set up a trap to catch Akuto to study this living thing called man. Suzu also prevents her by switching the trap, causing Chikage to become entangled in her own. However, another group of girls rushes over to Akuto. Akuto continues to run until he accidentally jumps across a river. Unable to make it all the way across, is forced to hold on to the other side of a valley. When he reaches the summit, he sees Machai waiting for him. Knowing this, Akuto decides to take his chances in the river below. Of course, what would a river ride be without the river ending in a waterfall, so Suzu leaps down the waterfall to save Akuto. Yukino and her huge bird Taka Taka start seizing Akuto. However, once he realizes he's flying, his fear of heights takes over and he gets scared, causing Taka Taka to drop him. Only Tonkatsu's transformation into a balloon saves Akuto. Akuto sighs with relief, muttering that it's just a cute panda bear. Unfortunately for Akuto, Suzu appears once more to save the day and can flip the giant angry panda bear away. However, the bear returns, and Akuto is thrown across the island while attempting to protect Suzu. Meanwhile, Anne, who had been knocked out when the island elder announced the hide-and-seek tournament, has been stepped on multiple times throughout the day by Suzu and her older sister, who finally reaches the town and sees the banner for the hide-and-seek tournament. He nearly succeeds, but Anne spots him before he can pack up and leave. Anne continues to follow him just as Akuto takes a step off the cliff. Episode 3, Suzu and Akuto begin eating breakfast and preparing for the day. Akuto searches his backpack for his cell phone. Suzu goes to the well after breakfast to get enough water for the day. Rin walks by at that moment, carrying a large bucket of water. Suzu informs Akuto that Rin is the most powerful person on the island. This, however, irritates Akuto. Akuto recklessly runs towards Suzu's house, carrying both his and Suzu's buckets of water, and, predictably, runs right by her house, bumping and spilling all the water he was carrying. Rin offers Akuto some of her water, but he declines. He orders another girl to start throwing projectiles at Akuto, and then a younger girl appears in front of Akuto, Suzu, and Rin. Rin is promptly suffocated by her. Suzu tells Akuto that the girl is Makoto, Rin's younger sister, and that she loves Rin and thus will not be interested in Akuto. Makoto then thanks Akuto for keeping those people away from Rin. Suzu and Akuto go into town to assist everyone else with their work. Suzu explains that her job is to assist those who are busy and require additional assistance. Suzu and Akuto's first stop is to assist in the cultivation of sweet potatoes. Akuto, who brags about being the champion of digging up sweet potatoes in kindergarten, tries his hand at it. Suzu warns him that one person can't do it. But as we saw earlier in the episode, Akuto hates losing and tries to pull himself up until he falls. Then there's a fishing event, where Akuto catches a large sea creature that decides to bite him as well. Then there's milking a cow, which Akuto can't do because the cow falls on him. Suzu and Akuto finally meet up with Yukino and Chikage to go mushroom picking. But not just any mushrooms, but Matsutake mushrooms, which have grown to a size taller than the group going to pick them due to recent rain and must be picked before they become too large. Yukino discovers them and becomes angry that they are trying to hook up. At this point, the bird Yukino is riding is carrying one of the earthworms. Rin approaches. Rin pulls back in fear at this, as she dislikes insects. Yukino then throws the earthworms she is carrying at Rin. Akuto appears and saves the day. At the end of the day, despite his earthworm courage, Akuto criticizes his absence in comparison to the girls on the islands, particularly Suzu. Suzu assures Akuto that he is not insignificant. Suzu tells him that she is the only person on the island who lives alone, and that she used to be jealous of the other girls who could go home and eat and talk with others when she was alone. But that Akuto makes her feel like she, too, has a family. Episode 4, Anne ate cookies peacefully while taking a break from cleaning her temple's yard. When she's finished, she discovers a note from her older sister Machai instructing her not to eat the cookies. Suzu and Akuto transport massive radishes up a massive hill to the temple. The climb completely overwhelms Akuto, who sits down to rest once he reaches the top. Machai suddenly appears on Akuto's lap and begins flirting with him. Suzu inquires Machai as to whether her mother is present. Machai says yes, but she's making mame. So Machai has an idea. Machai tells Suzu that if she finds Anne for her, she will give her 20 freshly made mame daifuku. Suzu agrees right away. Suzu then proceeds to set several traps. Akuto tells Suzu that he has reason to doubt she'll be able to find Anne easily. Suzu, on the other hand, has a plan. She climbs a tall rock and yells as loudly as she can. Anne has a small chest. This prompts Anne to arrive and confront Suzu about her false claim. While Suzu searches for Machai's weakness, and decides to ask the other residents of town about it as well. Rin claims to be afraid of a creature known as Ueshigeru, which lives in the south. Rin then recalls that she believes it eats anyone who comes too close, but only after Anne has gone to get one. Anne returns, halfway in the mouth of one. Anne then questions Chikage on the topic. Suzu then returns and declares that if a sword or an arrow penetrates her heart, she will die and that this is her weakness. Machai, clearly annoyed by this apparent non-answer, yells out loud if anything will affect that out-of-date old hag. Suzu then observes that saying that will make Machai sad, and Anne demands to see for herself whether Suzu has betrayed her. Suzu says no, she believes they should resolve. Suzu is still hiding that evening when Anne's screams frighten her, and stimulate Akuto to rush out to see what's all the fuss about. Akuto arrives at Anne, who is nearly unaware and pale. Anne enters and attempts to expel the ghost using her special training as a priestess's bloodline. The ghost then seeks Akuto, but he lets it have it, punching it and stepping on it until it surrenders. Akuto then requests that the ghost stop being mean to people, and the ghost conveys gratitude for his forgiveness, and finally, the ghost departs happily. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and turn on notifications for our next video. Bye.